So, good day to you all. It is my sincere prayer and hope that this lecture meets you well. This is Introduction to Biochemistry BCH 121. It's going to be the first and only biochemistry course we are going to take for now, as far as this session is concerned, in 100 level. Other biochemistry courses you are going to take in your subsequent levels, so from 2 to your final year. So this course is going to be taken alongside 3 other lecturers that will come and actually give you their own part of the lecture. Now, what we are going to be looking at is the concept of biochemistry itself. Under this, we'll now see definitions of biochemistry, relationship of biochemistry with other disciplines, the scope of biochemistry, branches of biochemistry, as well as landmark discoveries or important discoveries. We'll now briefly see the concept of prebiotic evolution. Now, the concept of biochemistry. Biochemistry Much of biochemistry deals with the structure and functions of cellular components such as proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acid, and other biomolecules. So what is important in biochemistry is actually the structure and how it functions. And then we look at metabolic pathways and flow of chemical energy through different kinds of metabolism. Information metabolism is 2 things that will come into your mind. There is the breakdown aspect of it, that is the catabolism, and then there is the formation aspect of it, that is the anabolism. So catabolism is a word that comprises 2 different processes. Now, biochemical processes involve in the control of information flow through biochemical signaling, and how they are related to functioning of the whole organism is all about biochemistry. So in terms of definition, we define biochemistry or simply as the chemistry of life and living processes. It describes in molecular terms the structures, mechanisms, and chemical processes shared by all living organisms. Thus, biochemistry provides organizing principles that underlie life in all its diverse forms, whether the unicellular organisms that we see or the ones that we cannot see, or the plants or animals, human beings. Biochemistry provides what? The organizing principle. Now, there is a relationship of biochemistry with other disciplines. Of course, biochemistry is actually coined, well, some from say biology and chemistry, but it's beyond just biology and chemistry. So biochemistry derives idea from from biology, where it provides the relevance, of course, living cells, life. And chemistry provides the method and molecular perspective. How do the structures look like? And then mathematics, of course, the physical. It provides the means to evaluate and predict. You come to learn that all the structures, they have orientation, they have angles. We've seen that in organic chemistry. Those are aspects of mathematics and physics. Then what do physics provide? Provide physical models, the structures too, the interpretation, the machines that are used or equipment that are used have to do or has to deal with physics. Now, it means that biochemistry derive knowledge from chemistry, biology, physics, and mathematics. In fact, these are basic sciences. Basic sciences, or what we call natural sciences. That is why you are in the Faculty of Natural and Applied Sciences. So that means that biochemistry is what? An applied science. An applied science, just like microbiology, zoology, geology, and mining. Those ones are applied sciences. Now, you can also see the relationship of biochemistry with other disciplines like plant science. There is a direct link. Plant science, you'll have to do genetics. Biochemistry, genetics is there. Genomics, of course, when you study genes. Proteomics, when you study proteins. This particular discipline has a direct link with biochemistry. Medical sciences, pharmacy, anyone, MBBS, they derive idea for biochemistry is basics. When you go to medicine and surgery, you have to pass biochemistry to qualify. It's important. Medical students are always scared of biochemistry. Biochemistry students are not scared of medical students, so you are at advantage. When you study biochemistry, you can always go and study medicine. Then we have system biology, veterinary sciences. This is where the zoology students come into play. So there's a direct link. Microbial sciences, microbiology. Bioinformatics, a multidisciplinary discipline or course that draw information from statistics, mathematics, and so many other courses. Biotechnology, the new world, the improvement of cells to give us better products. Industry, food industries, pharmaceutical industries, they use the aspect of biotechnology, as they manipulate the cell. But all that has to do with the concept or the knowledge of biochemistry. Then the scope, how, where, and how has biochemistry covered? Scope, what it has covered. The scope of biochemistry is said is as vast as life itself. Everything that has to do with life has to do with biochemistry. Whether at the time of birth, biochemistry is there. Growth, reproduction, aging, and even when you die, biochemistry is still there. In biochemistry, we say you're only dead when your cells stop multiplying, stop using energy until the last molecule is used. You can die, but biochemistry will still take place until the last molecule is utilized. For that matter, every movement of life is packed with hundreds of biochemical reactions. So as long as there is life, there is biochemistry. So you can see that the biochemistry, the scope, is as vast as life itself. Now, branches of biochemistry. That biochemistry is an offshoot of organic chemistry. So if you understand organic chemistry very well, you understand some of the mechanisms or some of the process of biochemistry. So in some of the branches, or the most important branches of biochemistry, subsequent branches you may see in future include enzymology, how enzymes work, nutritional or food industry, or industrial biochemistry. Sometimes we just call it nutritional biochemistry, sometimes food biochemistry, industrial biochemistry. Then the medical biochemistry, as pharmacology, clinical biochemistry, or sometimes referred to as the chemical pathology, diagnosis of diseases, and even how to manage disease. Biochemical toxicology, any foreign substance that is taken into the body, how does it react? We call some of those substances xenobiotics. It's another branch of biochemistry. Molecular biology itself is another branch. You study biomolecules at molecular level. You're not just looking at the cell, you're looking at even component of the cell or organelles of the cell. What is happening in the mitochondria alone? What is happening in the nucleus alone? What is happening in the Golgi body alone? Molecular biology. But molecular biology aspect has to do with the DNA and the RNA, or the nucleic acid. Then biotechnology, how we manipulate living cells to give us even better outcome or better products in the industry. Recombinant DNA technology, gene cloning, genetically modify organisms or food that we eat. Instead of having palm oil to grow for 15 years before it starts giving us the nuts or the fruits, biotechnology will manipulate cells so that within 2, 3, 4 years we have the fruits. Forensic biochemistry, if we want to analyze in a crime scene, DNA fingerprinting, forensic biochemistry come into being. Environmental biochemistry too. Computational biochemistry is a new aspect. It's not that new actually, but it's something of recent. I would say it's multidisciplinary because it involves other disciplines like mathematics, like statistics, organic chemists. They come into being. We call it molecular docking or bioinformatics in short. This and some are the branches of biochemistry. And a landmark discovery, there are so many discoveries, but these are important. In particular, fermentation processes, when you see glycolysis is aerobic fermentation, you come to learn what glycolysis is a breakdown of glucose to pyruvate. It gives us certain energy. From there, ethanol can be formed. So you see the food industry will benefit from this process, and it was actually discovered by Louis Pasteur in around in the late 19th century, 1860 to be exact. How enzymes are extracted was demonstrated by Edward Buchner in 1897. And the citric acid cycle, which is a central metabolic pathway for every other breakdown of carbohydrate, breakdown of glucose, breakdown of lipids, breakdown of lipid fatty acids, breakdown of even proteins, they are all linked to this cycle. So this discovery is also important in biochemistry. DNA is a genetic material too. It used to be thought that protein are genetic materials until when Avril McCloy showed that it's actually DNA that contains the information that is passed from parents to their offspring. Another important discovery is the TCA cycle, that the TCA cycle occurs in the mitochondria. Not really, you can see at molecular level, mitochondria is one of the organelles within the cell. So it's not just talking about the cell. One of the organelles of the cell was discovered is very important, especially when the isolation of the component of the TCA is involved. Now you know where to target mitochondria, not just anywhere. So the discovery that is in the mitochondria is also paramount. It's an important discovery in biochemistry. Then, of course, the structure of DNA that revolutionized the entire molecular biology. The discovery by 1953 was Watson and Crick. They discovered that the structure of the DNA is a double helix with the bonds in between the nitrogen groups. Then another important discovery by Paul Berg is the recombinant DNA technology that I mentioned, gene cloning in genetically modified organisms that pharmaceutical industries, food industries, the technology they use to enhance their products. And then of importance is the Human Genome Project that began in 1990. This one is not by one science or group of scientists within so many countries of the world that came together, sequenced the gene of humans so that we know which gene is responsible for sickle cell, which gene is responsible for say Alzheimer's disease, which particular gene is implicated if somebody is having phenylketonuria, now is a metabolic disease. So this genome project has sequenced the genes of humans, and then target of interest, drug targets can be done very easy. So it's an important gene that causes important discovery that costs billions of dollars, not naira, for it to be achieved by world scientists. There are other important discoveries, but these are just but few. Then what happens before life started even on Earth? That's we're looking at the prebiotic evolution. The life on our planet has emerged through a progressive process of complexation based on carbon chemistry, organic chemistry, taking place in several phases as follows. The first phase, or the cosmic stage, which began with the expansion of the universe, the famous Big Bang theory, where the shining star explodes or implodes, and then the world came to being. This is the first stage, or the cosmic stage. Then there is the organic stage, in which the first hydrocarbon are compounds of hydrogen and carbon molecules enter the structure of living matter. Then the prebiotic stage itself, in which the bricks of life, or the building blocks of life, were formed: amino acids, proteins, nucleic acid, and other ones. The primitive biological stage, which led to the appearance of the first unicellular bacteria. Then the stage of intelligent life, the stage of evolved complex life. These are the 5 stages in the prebiotic evolution. Then who are the founding fathers? Or the people that came together that brought out this hypothesis as to how life emerged on this earth. Then there are 2 biochemists that you cannot oversee, Oparin and Haldane. From the hypothesis that the prebiotic atmosphere is actually strongly reducing. You must have known reducing agent and oxidizing agent, reduction and reduction in your redox reaction. They said that the wall initially is devoid of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Even if they are there, they are at trace amount. So the wall is highly reducing. A reduced compound will have a lot of hydrogen in it. You can see ammonia is a reduced compound because of the ratio of the hydrogen to the nitrogen. And hydrogen itself was in abundance in the atmosphere. Then water vapor, even though there is oxygen, but when you compare the ratio of oxygen to hydrogen, you can see that the hydrogen is higher. So this is a reduced molecule. And even methane has the ratio of 1 to 4 hydrogen. So you can see their hypothesis says that the prebiotic atmosphere was highly reducing, devoid of oxygen. Now, in the absence of oxidation, if there's no oxygen, oxidation may hardly occur. and decomposition process over millions of years. These compounds accumulated in the water that has already been their primary ocean, forming what is called a hot diluted soup. That is how they call it. Now these compounds thus form simultaneously assembled into the molecules such as proteins. Proteins are polymers of amino acids. These amino acids have amino group. You can see where the amino is coming from. Nucleic acids too, under the cosmic and primitive Earth. So from this reconstitution of this highly reduced compound, we now have the initial compounds that were formed. Now, according to another scenario on the prebiotic molecular evolution, the RNA wall comes first. RNA is a genetic material that is referred to as ribonucleic acid. That particular theory or evolution says that RNA appears first than the DNA. Why? Because RNA is more flexible than DNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. This is called the RNA first scenario. What led to this scenario is the fact that RNA serves as a primer. Primer means that a particular molecule that is needed for the formation of another. So the formation of DNA is seen to be the genetic material. But DNA itself, for it to be formed, an RNA is required. So that means that RNA will have to come first before DNA. Another thing is that cell deoxyribonucleotides, you come to learn what deoxyribonucleotides are. They are formed from ribonucleotide, meaning that it is from this RNA that you get this DNA. The D that you see in the DNA spelling, this D, is deoxyribonucleotide, meaning that one particular oxygen is not there. So it means that it is a derivative of RNA. So that means the RNA comes first when life is beginning to be formed on the earth. Now there's this DNA specific thymine is a base. This base is actually derived from the methylation of uracil. Uracil is an RNA specific base. So if DNA specific base is derived from RNA, it means that RNA will have to come first. So RNA serves as a precursor. In biochemistry, a precursor is a molecule that you need for forming another one. So RNA comes first. RNA can perform the function of catalyst. Organic catalyst is needed for reaction. We call such RNA molecule ribonucleases or RNAs or ribozymes. So if RNA has the ability to act as a catalyst and DNA does not, so that means the RNA will have to come first. So the wall, we have the RNA wall rather than the DNA wall, even though that DNA is seen to be the most important genetic materials that transfer information from parent to offspring. But this scenario has clearly shown that RNA was the first molecule before DNA. So basically our genetic material actually sprang from RNA before the native DNA before the DNA that we now have in existence. Thank you for your attention. Other lectures in this particular course is going to come subsequently.